Isolating morphemes. Step 1. Divide each word into its component morphemes using the plus symbol. 2. State which morpheme is the root. The root means it's the part of the word that can stand alone and have meaning without having to be attached to any other part of the word. 3. For each affix, state whether it's inflectional or derivational. If it's derivational, note how it changes the part of speech or meaning of the word. If it's inflectional, note the grammatical information that it adds to the word. Example, predetermined. First of all, you have pre, determine, and then ed. The root equals determine. Pre is derivational, changes meaning to before. The ed is the inflectional past tense ending. Example, wonderfully. I'm going to try to walk you through it here. So we have wonder plus wonderful, right? That's a word. And then we have wonderfully, right? So we can break this into 3 parts. The root equals wonder. We can say that. Now as we begin, we're going to start with FUL. So let's look at this for a minute. So when you go from wonder, I wonder, or it can be either a noun or a verb. So let's say it's either way, right, a noun or a verb. When you add FUL to it, it changes the part of speech. So wonder, if it's a verb, right, it's changing to an adjective. So because it's changing in its part of speech, derivational, I'm going to put changes. We'll put verb to adjective. That's what I would say there. Now if we go to 4, we have to look, now we're looking at the word wonderful, right? So wonderful is an adjective. We add a y on it, it's changing to an adverb. So this is also derivational. Changes, we will put adjective to adverb. So in this case, it looks like these affixes are affecting the word derivationally because it changes, the word's changing in its part of speech, wonder, right? We can look at this maybe as being a verb, right? So it's changing when you add FUL to it, it changes from a verb to an adjective. That's how we get wonderful. And then once you go from wonderful to wonderfully, it's now changing from an adjective to an adverb. Practice isolating morphemes. Number 1, plentiful. Divide the word into its component morphemes. State which morpheme is the root, and then label any affixes as being derivational or inflectional. Be sure to justify your response. The word can be separated into plenty and plentiful, or FUL, plenty and full. And plenty can be, we look at this as the root, and then when we look at plenty, you can look at it as either an adjective or a noun. So let's say we look at it as a noun. So that would make it derivational. So the FUL is changing from plenty, which is a noun, to plentiful, which is an adjective. Number 2, rejoining. Again, separate the word into its component morphemes using the plus symbol. State which morpheme is the root, and for each affix, label it as being derivational or inflectional, and justify your response. Rejoining can be separated into re, join, and ing. Join is the root. Re is derivational. It changes the meaning to again. Notice how you say join and then rejoin to do it again. And the ing is the inflectional progressive ending. So because the ing has more of a grammar type function, it's inflectional. But the RE, because it has meaning, it's more derivational. Number 3, meagerness. Separate the word into component morphemes using the plus symbol. Identify the root, and for each affix, state whether it's inflectional or derivational. First of all, we can separate. We have meager, and then we have NESS. Meager is the root. The NESS is derivational. It changes from an adjective to a noun. So how do I know that? So in my own mind, I kind of created 2 sentences using the word. First, meager. He made only a meager wage working for the restaurant fast food chain. So I can see that meager, it occurs in between the determiner and the noun, right? So this is an adjective. I can see that by how it's placed in the sentence. Now, in the next one, his meagerness led him to live a simple life. We're now using meagerness after a determiner, which makes it a noun. And there's no other noun after it. So then I'm saying here it's derivational because it's changing from an adjective to a noun. Number 4, anti-disestablishmentarianism. This is certainly not the longest word in the English language, but nevertheless it's a very long word. Separate the word into its component morpheme using the plus symbol. Identify the root, and for each affix, state whether it's derivational or inflectional. So anti-disestablishmentarianism can be broken into anti-disestablishmentarian and then ism. Establish is the root. So you have anti-establish is derivational, changes to against. You have anti-disestablish is derivational, changing to not. And then anti-disestablishment, you're changing the word from establishment, which is a verb, establish, anti-disestablish, which is a verb, to anti-disestablishment, which is a noun. And then we go from the noun to the anti-disestablishment and then Aryan. So in this case, it's derivational. We're changing it from a noun thing to a noun person, but it's still a noun. And then once we go from anti-disestablishmentarian, which is a noun person, we go back to a noun thing, ism, which is a movement. So then we go to ism, anti-disestablishmentarian, ism. We have derivational changes from a noun person to a noun thing. And that would be how we would describe this word morphologically.